We as a group of educators need that opportunity to come and share and meet each other and understand that we're all on the same page. We all have the same challenges. We all have that opportunity to make a difference.
Logistically, how do you bring the staff of all these schools, of 13, 14, 15 schools all together? And we did it.
It is going to be such a fantastic day. What we want is people to leave knowledgeable, motivated, and indeed inspired and clear that they can make a difference in their own classroom, a greater difference, even better than they're doing now. We're starting off with Brian Goodwin, who is the CEO and President of McREL, preeminent internationally recognised research organisation. They only do research into education and educational leadership. So then we're having a series of workshops which will be facilitated predominantly by teacher practitioners, and they will invite participants to engage with the instructional strategies. Then we're concluding this amazing conference with Glenn Pearsall, who's going to go into one of the instructional strategies into greater depth. Encourage people to believe that this is just so doable, and he'll be focusing on cues and questions.
But the most important part is that we're not seen as a silo, we're seen as a community, and I think that demonstrated here with the 650 odd teachers from 17 different schools that's called the Deer Park Sunshine Network.
There's a lot of information out there these days, right? Our job is to help you turn that into knowledge, connect those dots, and then help you say, now how do I apply this in my my own practice? When you go into a high-performing school, you walk into a classroom, there's a teacher who knows what she's doing, what he's doing. The kids are on task. There's a sense that every single classroom is really focused. You go to the very next classroom, same thing. A lot of consistency. Not that they're all teaching the same things or teaching from a script, but that there's consistency in teaching quality and learning environments. You go to the low-performing schools, and here's what they found. You can walk in and you can find a great teacher, a great classroom. But the very next classroom next door, you wouldn't find that. The kids are climbing the walls, and there's there's not much focus in that. So we call this at McREL sort of the Forrest Gump principle of school performance, right? That low-performing schools are like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Think about this for a moment. The best teacher you ever had, what was it that they did? What made them special? So turn to the person next to you and just have a conversation about the best teacher in your life. We've identified kind of a three-legged stool of great teaching. We need teachers who challenge their kids, right? Who set a high bar. We also need teachers who are compassionate, right? That connect with their students. And who know what they're doing, who are really intentional about their practices. We're going to talk a lot about what does it mean to be intentional and how you need to go beyond just knowing what to do, but actually knowing why to do it. So we talk about this as a three-legged stool of great teaching. And imagine this, that you took away one of those stools. So now you've got a teacher who's setting high expectations, maybe connecting with the kids. But if their classroom pedagogy is kind of a mess, they're not likely to be terribly effective with all their kids. Or think about this kind of a teacher where they're setting that high bar, they're really good at their pedagogy, they know their stuff really well, but they don't connect with kids. We know that some kids will be okay in those kind of classrooms, a lot of kids won't, right? So that's probably not a great teacher either. Or this kind of a teacher, very supportive, very intentional, but maybe not setting a very high bar.
This morning with the keynote with Brian, he established a clear understanding of what we're trying to work towards, not only within our own school, but within the network.
Oh, that was amazing. I just found that he touched on so many things that I wanted to know the answers to. He gave great advice about classroom management. It was, really poignant the day before we're starting.
I just felt so excited and motivated by what he was saying.
Now, don't be perfect, don't be a perfectionist about just draw a circle, put the word weightlifting in the middle. And then if you would you put 4 lines that are blank, and the 5th line was my word, because the word that comes to mind is the word strength. When you have that diagram, would you stand up again? You'll see why. And I'll say, what's the one word that comes to mind when you think of weightlifting? And she'll say something, and I'll record it. I got one, I'll tell her mine, go to somebody else. Hello, hello. We're doing it very quickly. When I've got 4 different words from 4 different people, I go back to my original seat. You want to do it quick, you want to talk to people you don't know, please make it happen. Go talk to some people. 4 different people. It has nothing to do with about who's smart and who's not. It's all about prior what? Knowledge. So again, it's all about prior what? Knowledge. And it's also about lifting the what? Weights. So this is what it looks like.
The executive initiated an invitation that went all out to all the schools and said, who wants to be part of this fantastic conference and to support collegiate engagement with the 9 high impact instructional strategies.
I was able to look at just short pieces that they were doing in the classroom, and from that I was able to pull out, they're doing this well, they're not doing that part so well. So we'll focus our next learning intention on this area to help them complete that piece better.
Just worried that maybe there's a few too many people looking a little too closely at each other. We'd like everyone to shut their eyes this time. So this is a safe space where you can do what we like. And Rita has another task for you. All right, let's go for an acute angle now.
Really cute.
Acute.
I really want to know.
Fun. It might be embarrassing for you guys, but I'm sure our 9-year-olds enjoy that type of things.
The feedback is that all the workshops went really well, which is great news, and as we hoped, and that's fantastic. But now what we've got, of course, is this cohort of people who are just ready to be lead users in taking their schools and indeed the whole network to the next level with this work. So look, they're the heroes of the day.
And I think just from the feedback also from the staff and the opportunity to network, which we really do value, but sometimes in the day-to-day running of a school, it's very hard to do to allow teachers to work across schools. So this has been a great opportunity for them to all connect as well.
My passionate interest is in everyday teaching practice. I'm absolutely fascinated how we take the best thinking, the best theory and the best experiences in our school systems and turn it into everyday practice that reaches kids on a hot Friday afternoon. And I sat there as this teacher gave a riveting explanation of this task. And as she gave the explanation, I noticed this kid quite close to me. I was sort of sitting at a slight angle behind him, and he was giving her every type of nod you could humanly give. Right? He gave her the quick nod. He gave her the more emphatic slow nod. He had this strange side-to-side one. And then lastly, when she made a big and emphatic point to the group, he picked up the cue that this was important, and what he did was he gave her this one. But what he didn't do was include those insights in his written work. He didn't include those insights. What the student was good at was nodding. And in fact, we have to get kids comfortable with the idea that they can tell us about the extent of their learning. We can't pretend what we don't know. We need to find out where students are, where their gaps are, and we need to move them from that place. What I want you to tell me is, I just want a baseline bit of data. Can you just tell me who in the room can reverse park a car? Just a show of hands, please. Okay, thank you very much. Like the first thing was that most people who put their hands up then did that strange thing of turning the person next to them and justifying the extent of how well they reverse parking. I didn't say, I want you to pop up your hand and then mutter to the person next to you, right? But you did. And in fact, what you're doing is you're sending me a signal about the extent of your learning in that situation. So often we ask kids, did you do the homework? When the most important question is, how well did you do the homework? So often we ask kids, did you understand what I just conveyed to you? When really what we should be asking them is, how well did you understand? Because we're trying to signal to them, it's not about a coin that gets flipped of knowledge, but about extent. I used to write on my whiteboard that getting it wrong is not the opposite of right, it's the pathway to getting it right. Thank you very much for being such an attentive audience.
It's a great opportunity for schools to learn from one another. We always actually make the comment that wherever we go, we feel like the answers are usually in the room. So I think about the room today with 650 people. I think all the answers of what we need to do lie in this room. Now the question is, let's help one another, learn from each other, and improve everyone's practices across the board.
It's a great network to be a part of, very supportive, and it's going to be a great year, I think.
I have no doubt we will see this improvement on a trajectory that is going to continue over time, which means outcomes for our kids. We're already seeing it. You know, we've got some schools just, you know, performing well above what would be expected of their socio-economic status. We've got schools that are just leaving that all behind because they know the right work. And our challenge is to have every school doing it. And this is the start of that new journey.